between Walmart and Capital One. If you guys have not heard the news, that Walmart is officially done with Capital One credit cards. Now, I do want to say up front, this has nothing to do with Capital One acquiring Discover Card. Okay. So let's get right into it. I'm going to show you guys what this actually looked like and what this is going to mean if you have a Capital One card, if you have a Walmart card, just so people know what this means and how you will be affected. All right. So number one, if you do have a Walmart credit card, okay, chances are that Walmart credit card is with Capital One. Okay, because of course, as we know, a lot of retailers, they don't just usually work with one brand. In this particular case, the Walmart credit card was with one brand. Okay, and that was with Capital One. Now, number one, if you do have that card, you still owe the money. Let's get that right out the gate. Okay. A lot of times people think that if they have a credit card with a retailer, right? And if something happens to that retailer, that they don't owe the money. You most definitely owe the money. Okay. Let's get that out the way. Now that we know that we owe the money, what happens next? Well, can you still use the credit card? For now, you can still use the credit card like a regular Capital One credit card. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Because some people don't know exactly what that means. So that means that wherever MasterCard is accepted, let's say you have a $2,000 limit, treat it just like a $2,000 limit credit card. Does that make sense? So that means that you still want to be around 7 to 10% utilization, somewhere in that range, 7% preferably, 2 to 7%, right? And wherever MasterCard is accepted. So if you got approved for that credit card, you do not have to close that credit card. Keep that credit card open. Okay. But let's get right into it. First off, what led to this? Okay. Now, there's been a couple of complaints. Okay. There's been a couple of complaints. And I want to make sure everyone, of course, want to make sure everyone can see this. So there's been a couple of complaints, but they ended their agreement with Capital One, which was on the exclusive issuer of Walmart consumer credit cards. The company said on Friday, and this just happened last night, okay, the world's largest retailer had previously accused Capital One of being too slow to post many transactions to cardholders' accounts and failing to promptly replace many lost cards. Now, for those who don't know, for when retailers partner with someone to do the financing essentially for their credit cards, for example, if you all buy something from Google, if you ever financed it, that went through Synchrony Bank. Hint, Synchrony Bank did the financing for Walmart. They used to be in Capital One's position for Walmart before 2018, 2019. Okay. When Walmart decided to go with Capital One. Now, Walmart have not come out and said who they're going to partner with, but there's not a lot of options out there. Okay. Now, obviously you have Community Bank, you got Synchrony Bank. Most things typically go through Synchrony, but there's a reason why Walmart left Synchrony in the first place, and we'll keep you guys posted on that. But Synchrony is not bad. Google works with them and a lot of other retailers as well. But either way, Walmart had tied up with Capital One back in 2018 at the end of this 2-decade-long partnership with Synchrony Financial. Capital One started issuing the store-branded credit cards since 2019. The problems were uncovered late 2022 and 2023. And then the lawsuit began in 2023 as well. Now, what lawsuit was this? I mean, you guys may know about the lawsuit. The lawsuit was essentially saying, Walmart says, hey, we're losing money. We are losing money simply because Capital One can't keep up. They're saying it's too many phone calls. It's too many lost credit cards. It's too many questions. It's too much going on right now. And they said, listen, we're losing money if we keep letting them do this. And they said, okay, we got to find a way to get out of this agreement. Okay, got to find a way to get out of this agreement. All right. And so that's when, of course, that started back in 2023. Now, of course, you know how things take. Things take a long time. Either way, they were able to do that. And a federal judge just ruled in March of 2024 that Walmart can end its credit card partnership with Capital One early because the bank failed to provide the required level of customer service. Now, Capital One said at the time they disagreed with the decision and was evaluating its right to appeal. Essentially, said Capital One said, "Hey, listen, our customer service isn't as bad as Walmart says it is, right?" And now let's jump into the comments real quick. Have any of you all, if you've ever had a Capital One card, sorry, if you ever had a Walmart card, all right, if you ever had a Walmart card since 2018, 2019, let me know inside the comments if you all dealt with any type of customer service issues. Now, we do know on the Capital One side, a lot of people have been saying that, hey, I have been having issues. I've been having issues with Capital One as a Walmart customer, right? And so what does this mean? As I mentioned earlier, now, a couple things you got to know. These are very important things to know. I already went over the most important because that's usually the first question that people have is if I have the credit card with this company, do I have to still pay them? The answer is yes. You do still have to pay them until that balance is essentially paid off. It's still going to so that's number one. You still have to pay them. Number two, it's still going to report to your credit report. Okay, so this is a little bit different. Usually, sometimes, let's say, for example, if a retailer closes, like they file bankruptcy and the business essentially is non-existent, then usually you just have the balance and then the financing company will still report that to the credit bureaus. And then eventually the card will just close itself out. In this case, Walmart is still around. Capital One is still around. So now Capital One says, hey, listen, you still can get the reward points and stuff like that up until we tell you that you cannot anymore. Okay. And then once that happens, then and only then you can still keep using the credit card, but some of the perks may change. Okay, so keep that in mind because remember, the whole point of having those credit card perks was mainly to entice people to spend money at Walmart. That was the whole point. You didn't go to Walmart to get a card with Capital One. You went to Walmart to get a Walmart credit card, and Capital One just so happens to be the financing company. All right, so the perks and the rewards, they're still going to stay there. All right. But keep in mind, this is now going to be used like a regular credit card. So you can still get credit limit increases for now. This is the key word I want everyone to remember is for now. Because again, the whole point of them having you with this credit card was to be with Walmart. But if they're no longer with Walmart, then that plays a major role. All right. So either way, while Capital One and Walmart have ended their partnership, cardholders can continue to earn and redeem rewards, and previously accrued rewards will retain their value. Both companies said on Friday. Okay. And don't forget, Capital One agreed earlier this year to buy Discover Card. Now, we don't know if this is going to affect the purchase of Discover Card, things of that sort. So we got a lot of stuff going on with that. All right. So either way, let us know how you guys feel about that inside the comments below. All right. Now, next, let's go into the next piece of this. Okay. Because a lot of people now want to know the buy here, pay here's, not buy here, pay here's. That's auto loans. Okay. We're talking about buy now, pay later. All right. Let's get right into it. So now, if you've ever had a buy now, pay later situation, if you've ever had that, here's what's going to happen. Buy now, pay here. I'm sorry, buy now, pay later. All right. That's also known as BNPL. If you like, it's essentially when you go online, you're about to buy something. They say, hey, you could pay for it right now. But if you don't want to pay for it right now, you most definitely, watch this, you most definitely could just go with the buy now, pay later. Okay. And what's going to happen is you just pay a little bit now and you essentially they turn into a monthly payment. Okay. 4 monthly payments. And there's a lot of these companies out there. There's about 4 or 5 companies out there that have blown up. Here's the problem. People would sign up for the buy now, pay later. They would get the product, but then they'll have regular product stuff. It doesn't work. It doesn't do what it said it was going to do. I didn't receive it. You know what? I want a refund, right? Here's the thing. Typically, when you have a refund, the company that you bought it from has to process the refund. But since you bought it directly, since you essentially are paying the buy now, pay later company, they were giving people the flux. They said, hey, you've passed the refund time frame. All this other stuff that's going on. So check this out. The Biden administration grants more legal protections to buy now, pay here users. Now, I know that a lot of people are giving Biden points for this. I'm not trying to take away points from him in any way. However, this is something that's been brewing, and he just so happens to be the president in place. Okay, this was going to happen regardless. Okay, because what's happening is the buy now, pay later they now are now going to be acting just like credit cards. I want you guys to understand how huge this is. This means that if you have gotten something with the buy now, pay later process, not only is it going to be used like credit cards, it's going to be reported to your credit report, but it won't be reported to your credit report like a credit card per se. They're only going to report to the credit bureaus if you are late. Now, this is now going into phase 3. Okay, I want you guys to watch this. Watch where I'm going with this. When buy now, pay later first came out, they had nothing to do with the credit reports. They do a light to soft pull. They see if they're going to approve you, and that was it. They got in trouble last year and 2 years ago, big time. And then they say, you know what? We need to start reporting these. People aren't paying us. We have to collect this money some kind of way. And in order for us to do that, we now have to report it to the credit bureaus that you are being late. So then the administration says, well, hey, wait a minute. If you guys are going to be doing this, and this is what a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau stepped in, they said, listen, if you're going to be doing this with people, if you're, and I'm going to zoom in on this too. If you want to do this, then that means also you now have to start reporting the payments as well. So right now we're in phase 2. Phase 2 is they're just reporting payments if you're late. Okay. Now we're going to be transitioning to phase 3, hopefully by the end of this year, if not the beginning of next year. This means that if you are making on-time payments, they're going to be reporting that to your credit report. These are things that are not on the news because it's not big enough. But this affects people, and it's going to affect your credit score and report. So if you all know people, that essentially go through the buy now, pay later services, it's so many of them. I don't have to go through the names. Okay. But if you know people that essentially buy stuff this way, let them know they cannot be late. This is going to be treated just like credit cards. Okay. So now here's the bad side of this. As far as the company is concerned, you guys, and I'm sure y'all don't do this. Hint, hint. When you buy something and then you tell the bank, oh, I don't know what that was, and you dispute it and the bank sides with you, that now is going to be happening with buy now, pay later. So people will be able to dispute. People will be able to request refunds, right? And so that's essentially what this is. The Biden administration announced Wednesday. Now, this just happened, literally just happened, that consumers who use buy now, pay later services for purchases are entitled to the same legal protections as consumers who use credit cards. What does that mean? That means that the new ruling from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, that consumers will be able to dispute charges. Again, this means that if you got something, it didn't work, it didn't come, you could dispute that charge and demand refunds for return products purchased with the buy now, pay later loan. Now, a lot of people don't understand that what this is. It was a loan. Anytime you pay for something and you did not have the money and some other source gave you the money and they expect payment back, then that is some form of credit or loan. Okay. It's no different than swiping a credit card and paying it later. But they said it was a loan because it was a lump sum that they gave you, and then you made that overpayments over time. Okay. Now, it also means, here's the flip side, that buy now, pay later companies will have to investigate consumer disputes. Okay. Now, we all know how this works. That means they got to start acting like banks. Okay. If you guys haven't noticed, banks have stepped up on their dispute process. What does that mean? That means that when you now call, they almost want a blood sample to make sure that your dispute is accurate and that it is legitimate. Okay. So here's the deal. And they're also going to pause payment requirements while doing so. Okay. That means that you may or may not be able to use the services while you're going through the dispute process, and also provide consumers with customers with periodic billing statements. Now, they didn't used to do all this. It was just, hey, here's the monthly payment and here you go. Okay. So let me know inside the comments what you all think about this as well. The agency said that its assessment of the buy now, pay later marketplace was found the lack of such protections can create chaos for consumers who may be rethinking a purchase. I don't think that's the case. And honestly, here's the deal. If you do a buy now, pay later, and you pay on time and you get the product, everything works out perfectly. The issue is when people needed to just have basic customer service and they were not getting that. And there was nothing helping these people. Okay. And that's what they were saying. When consumers check out and they choose buy now, pay later, okay, they didn't know if they were going to get a refund or if they were going to return their product or whether the lender will help them if they didn't get what was promised. Okay. And that's what happened. But regardless of whether a shopper swipes a credit card or uses buy now, pay later, they are entitled to important consumer protections under longstanding laws and regulations already on the books. Okay. So again, you have to make sure that this actually makes sense before you all do this stuff. Okay. It's got to make sense to you. Okay. Now, here's the deal. Why did so many people even do buy now, pay later? You got, again, we know what a firm is. Some of these other companies as well, too. There's a concert that comes up you want to go. There's something you want to buy. There's a trip you want to take. So a lot of people have embraced buy now, pay later to avoid credit cards, especially at a time where interest rates are higher as well as higher prices. It's like, man, I want to go to this concert, but I don't have the money right now, but I'm going to have it tomorrow. I'm going to have it next week. I'm not saying it's a smart or dumb decision. That's up to you. You guys make your own budgets, okay? But the services come with their own pitfalls. Buy now, pay later providers don't universally report to the major credit agencies. Let's talk about that one second. This means many of you, many of you all have used buy now, pay later services. You've paid on time. You've been paying on time for months and you're missing out on points. But they said if they do turn this on, they also have to turn on the reverse, which is when people are late, when people have missed payments. They have to now have a charge off on the account. It's now going to turn into a collection. The same process like credit cards. So essentially, this is going to be like an instant approved credit card. That's what it's always been. Okay. But now it's going to be on your credit reports. All right. But missing payments can still hurt users, as we know, and of course, their credit scores, even though paying on time typically doesn't boost the scores. Now, this is what they're talking about. This is what they're talking about. Right now, buy now, pay later is not reporting on-time payments to your credit report, but it's coming soon. It's coming soon. Again, this is not, I'm telling you, these things are happening every single day, and we're going to be the first ones to bring you all this information. All right. So hopefully this information was helpful. Did you guys now let's talk about this inside the comments as well. Does anyone have any questions about any of this? What's your thoughts on this as well? All right. And like I know here, I tell a lot of the people, by the way, if you also, let me go ahead and move this over as well too. Let me pull this up here. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys go ahead and download our free ebook as well. As right there, you can actually scan this QR code, and the link is also inside the description below. So you guys can go ahead and get everything you need to know about your credit score and reports. All right. So does anyone have any questions about any of this? Was any of this information that you did not know prior to? I'm sure it was for sure. All right. And then also, let's go right into, that was another piece as well too. I don't think we have time to go into it today, but I'll go into it later on this week. But that's the news I got for you guys on today. So make sure you guys go ahead, like this video if you like it, go ahead and share it if you want to share it, and be sure to subscribe if you already haven't done so as well. All right. So it looks like Floyd has something he wants to add to this as well. Does this show up on the revolving side or the installment side? Very good question. Very good question, Floyd. So check this out. As for right now, it's not show. As for right now, buy now, pay later can only report late payments. Okay. Right now, buy now, pay later can only report the late payments. Okay. When it does show up like a credit card coming soon, they're only going to show the on-time payments. So if I could say if anything is going to be like, so a credit card has a limit. Buy now, pay later doesn't have a limit. So if you don't have a limit, you technically don't have utilization. If you don't have utilization, then technically you don't have revolving. Okay. If you don't have revolving, that means it can only be other one thing. That's going to be installment. A perfect example of what this is going to look like is if you all have ever gotten a credit builder, and then the credit builder loan shows the amount of money that you owe and what that monthly payment is, but it shows what your monthly payment is, and it also shows the on-time payments, of course, and it shows what the final borrowed amount is or what you paid into is. So which means it will show up like an installment loan. Okay. So this is very good information to have. Why is this important? Because this is going to affect all of your other installment scores. A lot of people have forgotten about that. That means your personal loan scores will be affected. Your mortgage scores will be affected. Your personal loan scores will be affected. Your auto loan scores will be affected. Anything that ends in the word loan will be affected. Okay. So make sure you guys keep up with that as well. Now, I don't know how often you all use buy now, pay later, but again, this is most definitely going to affect you. All right. Any other questions that we have before we get up out of here? Thanks for sharing that as well, too, Floyd. Sorry. I tried to mute it out before I snorted, but I guess I didn't press it in time. But anyway, let me know if anyone else have any questions before we wrap up and get out of here today. Any other questions at all? Is Floyd the only one? All right. Perfect. By the way, guys, I know you all are. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up this week, actually. So we have our 90-day home buying challenge coming up this week. So if you guys are looking to go into home ownership, and that's only going to be inside of our community. Okay. So if you guys are looking for the community to jump into, you most definitely can do that as well. And let me go ahead and move that around here. So again, like I mentioned, if you guys are looking to go qualify for home ownership, going into lowering your car payment, improving your credit score overall, you most definitely can do so. Okay. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out as well. But again, in our private community, we're getting people. We just got someone pre-approved for a mortgage. Okay. So someone just got pre-approved for their first mortgage. And this was after we showed them exactly what they need to do. We're going to be literally breaking down credit reports and saying, okay, this is what this person needs to do. They need to add this. They need to try to do this account better, things of that sort. And so we'll be walking people through what that process is. So no more guessing. Okay. No more guessing. If you guys want more information on that, all you have to do is just scan this QR code right here to the left. You can scan that QR code, or you can click the link inside of the description below if you guys want to go ahead and join our private 850 Club Elite community. So no more just saying what you want your goals to be. We have to keep up with stuff like this, okay? We have to keep up with what Walmart is doing with Capital One. We have to keep up with, what's going on with buy now, pay later, okay? We have to keep up with these things, because if we don't keep up with these things, we're going to be surprised. I don't want us to be surprised, okay? We have to be prepared. Not surprised, but prepared, okay? We have to be prepared. All right. So thanks you guys for watching as well, too. We'll see you guys later on this week as well. You guys have a great one. And of course, make sure you guys like this video, share this video, and be sure to subscribe for more.